you didn't arrive at this teaching by coincidence. Hermetic wisdom has a way of appearing only when your consciousness reaches a point of readiness. The Kybalion shows up when the mind begins to open to a deeper architecture of reality, when the soul signals that it's ready to remember what it already knows. This isn't new information. This is ancient recognition. The 7 Hermetic principles are not intellectual concepts. They are the operating system behind existence itself. They describe how energy moves, how matter forms, how consciousness interacts with the field, and how your inner world shapes your outer world. When you understand these principles, you begin to see the patterns behind everything. Synchronicities make sense. Manifestation becomes mechanical. Emotional shifts, relationship dynamics, and even your own spiritual evolution stop feeling chaotic and start revealing structure. Hermeticism originates from Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great master, the bridge between the Egyptian Thoth and the Greek Hermes. He is the archetype of the awakened mind, the one who mastered alchemy, sacred geometry, astronomy, magic, and the language of the divine mind. Across civilizations and timelines, he represents the human who has remembered how creation actually works. The Kybalion, written in 1908 by the mysterious 3 initiates, distills this vast body of knowledge into a set of universal laws. It isn't trying to convert you or convince you of anything. It simply hands you the master key, the lens that unlocks the meaning of every spiritual system, every manifestation method, every energy practice, and every psychological pattern. Hermeticism says there is no randomness. There is law. And when you understand law, you stop living reactively and start living consciously. One of the most well-known Hermetic statements is, "The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding." This was not about elitism. It simply means that truth cannot be heard until the student is ready to hold it. Wisdom arrives at the moment of resonance. And you are here because that resonance has activated. Before exploring all 7 principles, everything begins with the first and most foundational, the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This is not symbolic. It is literal. The universe exists within a living, conscious field, the mind of the all. Everything you experience, everything you attract, everything you interpret, begins in mind. Not just thought, but consciousness itself. You are not a separate observer inside a universe. You are a fractal expression of the very mind that generates the universe. When you understand this, the power dynamic shifts instantly. That emotional pattern you've carried for years, it has a mental origin. The financial plateau you keep hitting, it's connected to a mental blueprint. The relationship cycles you replay, they're built from mental imprints and internal vibration. Nothing is stuck. Nothing is permanent. Everything is modifiable at the level where it began. If the universe is mental, then the roots of your reality are accessible. You can repattern, rewrite, restructure, and revibrate your entire life from the inside out. This principle challenges every belief about powerlessness. It dissolves the illusion that life happens to you. It reveals that the internal world is the generator of the external world. As within, so without becomes more than a quote, it becomes a map. You begin to notice how your thoughts, assumptions, expectations, and unspoken energies generate experiences long before matter appears. You begin to see how people mirror your inner state. How your emotional tone sets the frequency of your day. How your assumptions shape your outcomes. How nothing appears until it exists first in the mental plane. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. You start watching your mind differently, not as random noise, but as creative force. You begin recognizing patterns in your life as reflections of internal structures. You notice the relationship between emotion and manifestation. You discover how quickly reality reorganizes itself when you shift your internal state. Suddenly, life becomes cooperative, responsive, malleable, alignable. This is the beginning of true mastery, when you stop trying to change matter at the level of matter, and instead change it at the level of mind. You move from reaction to intentional creation. You stop waiting for external validation to feel safe or worthy or abundant, and instead generate the frequency internally. And as soon as the vibration changes, the timeline changes. Hermeticism teaches that everything you seek, clarity, healing, abundance, alignment, purpose, already exists in the mental plane waiting for you to align with it. You're not trying to force reality into place. You're tuning your consciousness to the version of reality that already matches your vibration. The universe is mental, and your mind is the instrument that shapes your experience within it. When you understand this, you begin to recognize your own role as a creator. You realize how powerful your awareness is. You remember that you are not small, not disconnected, not at the mercy of circumstances. You are part of the very intelligence that forms reality. You are the observer and the creator, the receiver and the transmitter, the experiencer and the architect. Hermetic wisdom does not ask you to believe anything. It asks you to notice. To observe your life through a different lens. To recognize patterns that were always there. And to remember that the universe is not outside of you, you are inside of it, shaping it, influencing it, and participating in its unfolding through every thought you think and every emotion you embody. This is the first initiation, remembering that mind is the origin. Once you understand this, the rest of the principles unlock with ease. Mentalism opens the door. Correspondence reveals the mirrors. Vibration shows the mechanics. Each principle builds upon the last, creating a full system for understanding the structure of reality itself. This is your entry point into mastery. And we are only at the beginning.